How's it going, everyone? Happy Friday to everyone tuning into the channel. So the Packers just released their final injury report of Week 17 with all the injury designations. So did the Minnesota Vikings, and the Packers have listed 4 players questionable and 5 players doubtful. So there's a lot to go over on this injury report, but water is wet. We tend to see that every single week for the Green Bay Packers. So in today's video, we're going to break down and go over the Packers injury report as well as the Vikings injury report ahead of this Sunday Night Football matchup. Before we get started, quickly wanted to remind you guys you have 2 more days to enter in this new giveaway. I just released the winners of the last week's giveaway on my community tab on YouTube, so check that out. But this week's giveaway, thank you to Pristine Auction, is firstly this signed Brett Favre football here, and second, this signed framed Paul Hornung photo here. Really excited to give both of these items away. Thank you to Pristine Auction. Pristine Auction is your go-to for signed sports memorabilia, especially the Green Bay Packers. As you see here on their website, there's a ton of different cool items such as signed jerseys. We see a Romeo Doubs, a Jordan Love. There's mini helmets, a Lucas Van Ness mini helmet, a Jordan Love mini helmet. There are so many cool items you can find here on Pristine Auction, all for auction, and a lot of which with no reserve. So to enter in this giveaway, head to Pristine Auction with the link down in the description. Sign up on the website using my registration code BAS, B-A-S. That'll enter you in this giveaway and all future giveaways, as well as give you $10 off your first order, so you can check out all the cool items they have to offer, maybe win a bid or two, and then get $10 off that order. All right, so without further ado, let's dive down into the Packers injury report first, and bringing it up on the screen here, we see at the top Devondre Campbell, neck injury, didn't practice all week. He is doubtful. Kind of shocked he's even doubtful. I kind of expect him not to play at all the remainder of the year and maybe never again in a Green Bay uniform. We'll have to see how that goes through the offseason. Obviously, with that kind of issue arising a couple of weeks ago with his tweet and then talking to Matt LaFleur, and then Matt LaFleur saying he needs him to get right, so he's going to have a week off, but now he has 2 weeks off and he hasn't practiced since then. He's doubtful, not going to play in this game. Would be shocked to see him there in Week 18. A.J. Dillon with his broken thumb. This man is a trooper. He's practicing and playing with a broken thumb. He was limited all week with no injury designation. So A.J. Dillon will play. I still think they'll favor Aaron Jones, but A.J. Dillon may get a few touches here and there. J.J. Enagbare, toe injury, was limited Wednesday, but full practice Thursday and Friday. He's good to go in this game. Elton Jenkins, rest day Wednesday, limited Thursday and Friday, no designation. Aaron Jones practiced all week, so it seems like Aaron Jones is finally getting healthy, coming off a game where he rushed 21 times for 127 yards. The key to victory is going to be getting this running game going again against the Minnesota Vikings. I expect a heavy dose of Aaron Jones in this game and hopefully another 100-yard game. Nice to see him healthy. He has no injury designation. Now, Luke Musgrave is doubtful. We all kind of hoped maybe he'd return this week. He practiced all week, but they want him to get right and be able to go into this game with no concern. And it is a lacerated kidney, so there's definitely a little bit of concern there, right? He practiced all week, which is a great sign. He's doubtful. I don't see him playing, obviously, being doubtful, but hopefully he'll be able to return at least one game in Week 18. And if the Packers indeed somehow make it into the playoffs, he'll be available then. And I think that's kind of what they're looking at right now, a little bit of the long picture. You know, they got to go win against Minnesota, so you obviously want all your best players out there, but it seems like he's not quite ready. But if they do win against Minnesota and some of the other things go their way, the Packers could be in a win and in situation Week 18 versus the Bears, where then Luke Musgrave may be ready. John Owens, knee injury, limited all week, no designation. Jayden Reed, no designation. This is huge. Jayden Reed, after missing a game last week after playing through a ton of injuries earlier this season, is likely going to do that again, play through some injuries here. A toe/chest injury, limited all week, but no designation. Great to not see questionable here. The Packers are going to need Jayden Reed. The Vikings are going to be without slot cornerback Byron Murphy, so I think the Packers can really attack the Vikings defense that way with Jayden Reed, and I suspect heavy volume for Reed in this game. Robert Rochelle, a depth/special teams corner, neck injury, limited all week. He's questionable. Darnell Savage, after missing the last 2 games, is also questionable, limited all week. I say he does suit up for this game, but will he start at safety? Not really sure. If he does suit up, he probably will. TJ Slayton, knee/foot injury, didn't practice yesterday after being limited on Wednesday, but got limited again today on Friday, which is huge. He's questionable, but probably will be like a game time type of decision for him. We see Luke Tenuta doubtful, even though he's a full participant all week. The Packers just likely aren't ready to activate him, so they're listing him as doubtful with that ankle injury, so maybe he gets activated next week. Christian Watson didn't practice all week. Is doubtful. Again, surprised it's not out. They did this within like the last 2 weeks, maybe just to kind of throw off the Vikings a tiny bit, like, oh, there is a chance Watson could suit up, so they at least have to game plan for him a little bit. But we all know Watson isn't playing this game. He didn't practice all week. Hopefully he'll be able to return week 18 if the Packers' playoff hopes are still alive. Dontavian Wicks didn't practice all week, but is questionable. And this guy's been tough all year, just like Jaden Reed. So although he didn't practice all week, questionable, that's a good sign. It's not doubtful, it's questionable. Hopefully he can feel right game time decision and they can put him in this game. The Packers definitely are going to need someone like Tay Wicks without Christian Watson. Bo Melton has stepped up, but Tay Wicks, Jaden Reed have been the constant wide receivers for this offense, and obviously Romeo Doubs as well. So hopefully he can play. It's just something we're going to have to monitor and see, an hour and a half before a game if he is indeed able to play. Then finally, we have Emmanuel Wilson, also hasn't been activated yet. He practiced in full all week, but also is doubtful. So a lot of these doubtfuls are a little misleading. Like, these guys practiced all week outside of Luke Musgrave. They just simply haven't been activated, and the Packers likely aren't looking to activate them this week. Now moving over to the Minnesota Vikings injury report. At the top is Jordan Addison, and I know a lot of people were going, oh, Jordan Addison's going to be out of this game. They're already out TJ Hawkinson, but it looks like Addison's going to play, and this is big for the Minnesota Vikings and big for the Packers defense. He did very well in their first matchup, and that was without Jefferson. So when Jefferson's out there, all eyes on him, Addison's going to see a lot of one-on-one coverage, and he's played very well this year. So he's questionable, limited Thursday, limited Friday. I'm a little bit worried about this pass defense going against Addison and Jefferson. That's without Hawkinson. So although it's Jaren Hall at quarterback, you still got to have answers for Addison and Jefferson. Mekhi Blackmon is questionable with a shoulder/illness. He practiced yesterday and today. He likely will suit up. He's probably their best cornerback, so it would be massive if he ends up not playing with, Byron Murphy also out, which we'll get into. Sheldon Day, no designation. Troy Dye, their linebacker, is questionable. Safety Theo Jackson is out, didn't practice all week. Alexander Madison, their backup running back, I'd say at this point, no designation, will be able to play in this game. This is a huge one. Byron Murphy, their starting slot cornerback. Now, Josh Metellus does kind of play there in the nickel some, so, he's been very good this year as well, but Byron Murphy is, quote-unquote, their starting slot, so big here. Knee injury, didn't practice all week. He is out of this game. Jalen Naylor, a depth receiver, he's out of this game. Not a huge thing there. Starting right tackle, Brian O'Neill, no designation, practice in full. Starting linebacker, undrafted free agent, Ivan Pace, who's been very impressive this year. Full practice all week, no designation. Starting defensive tackle, Harrison Phillips, no designation. He will play. And depth lineman, Jacqueline Roy here is out. He didn't practice all week. So that is the final injury report, Packers versus Vikings. I am confident in this game. Now, I know a lot of us are thinking, Jaren Hall is going to come out here and throw for 350 and 4 touchdowns. And, the Packers may make him look a lot better than he is. But for some reason, I have a little bit of confidence right now. And I'm thinking, hey, maybe this defense comes out here, plays well, gets a couple turnovers on Jaren Hall. Maybe this is very wishful thinking. I don't want it to be the case where the final 2 weeks, the defense looks great and Joe Barry saves his job. Like, no matter what, I don't want that to happen. But for some reason this week, I feel like the defense will bounce back from last week after giving up 30 points to the Panthers and have a good performance and get a couple turnovers. Maybe that's because, it put a shock into the defense after Jair got suspended. Sometimes those things help and sometimes they don't. So we'll see how it goes without Jair. It's a must-win game against the best receiver in the NFL, arguably, and you don't have your best cornerback. So it's going to be a little difficult. Hopefully the Packers have a good game plan for this Vikings offense. The Packers offense should handle business and get things done. I'm very excited about this game. It's the playoffs start now for the Green Bay Packers. They started last week, but the playoffs start now truly. If they lose this game, they're out. But that about does it for this video. I appreciate you guys coming by. If you want a little deeper dive on the game preview, I just released a live stream a couple hours ago. You can go check that out on my channel. But I'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Pack Go.